before 2005, you had a balanced budget and you were able to implement the items of Article 43, like free primary education, zero-based budgeting, and so on. I have to move faster. Finance Act 2023 should repeal it in its entirety. In any case, the broad policy point is reduced taxation. Next cluster of items, review of or audit of the elections. Now, first of all,
with regard to strengthening multi-party democracy, and particularly coalition arrangements, I'm surprised you didn't point out the fact that these coalitions, deputy whip in parliament, is not working for the coalition. I'm surprised you left that out, and I think it's important to point that particular aspect out.
Honorable Eugene.
Thank you very much. I think my colleague Honorable Omar is really trying to defend the indefensible on matters cost of living. Of course, he must justify why the dollar has misbehaved. But
maybe Eugene, you could also have a friend say, is it applicable to the Tanzanian shilling? Because there's a presentation. If there are people holding dollars, yes, are they holding the Tanzanian shillings?
Tanzania, let me respond. Tanzania imports less than we do in terms of food. In fact, Tanzania even exports to Kenya. So therefore, their demand on the dollar is not as high as our demand on the dollar, and therefore there has been a certain weakening by a shilling or so of the Kenyan shilling on the basis of the demand. Secondly, we have removed the controls that the central bank used to have. The central bank used to fix a dollar rate on a daily basis. So you go to buy in interbanks, you get a better rate. You go out in the market, you get a lower rate, you get a much higher rate. So we decided to allow these controls out so that this dollar swims in its own market.
Okay,
I can tell you,
thank you. Let's allow it.
That's okay.
I think I've been given the opportunity.
I will have a session with Omar and teach him how we did foreign exchange liberalization, yes, even under Moi.
And I will also teach you what we are doing right now.
No, you haven't answered the question about the Tanzanian shilling.
Kindly, Honorable Eugene.
I think the team appearing before this committee today, if it was a case, this would be the main complainant on behalf of the people of the Republic of Kenya. And we cannot say how do protests help, how do demonstrations help, how do carrying sufriyas help? Because we know that protests helped us get a new constitution. It's actually protests when our founding fathers protested and went to the forest against British rule. That's how the British were removed from here. It's protests in Eldoret when children's money was stolen, the Finland Fund, that has brought fellows to be arrested to court, and there are 200 witnesses against them. There are protests that led to the stoppage of mechanization in Kericho. When jobs were being taken away from our people in Kericho, they protested. So you cannot say protests mean nothing, because there are those protests that have led us to sit here in Bomas today. So why we're here is to talk to each other, not at each other. And to look at the challenges facing our nation and come reason together to see how we can find solutions. So Governor Nderitu Muriithi, you as the presenter on behalf of the complainant, I want you to just restate the facts. We didn't get the figures properly. Senator Aaron has said on the issues of the wards, he has given the figures. I think just for the record, you are saying according to the evidence that you have, the number of votes that according to your evidence that Raila Odinga got, can you be specific? It was the tail end of your presentation, it didn't come out clearly. The number of constituencies that Lazima won versus Kenya Kwanza, and the counties and the regions. I think we want a clear picture because we can see a blue and yellow map, but you are not clear on the figures that you are talking about. And we are asking for opening of this service so that the truth can set this nation free. So that is why we're here. Apart from the issue of the cost of living, many Kenyans cannot make ends meet, and that is why they went to the streets. You have made proposals, and I'm hoping in your detailed presentation, you have proposed the specific taxes. It's not just enough to say reduction of taxes. The churches, the religious leaders have said, reduce the taxes. FKE has been here. We have professionals who have been here. All of them are talking the same language. But to help this committee, and we know your vast experience in matters finance, please be specific. Like on fuel, we have about 16 taxes and levies. Which ones are you specifically proposing should be scrapped or reviewed downwards? Because that is what really sent the cost of living high when we moved VAT from 8 to 16%. On electricity, we have almost another 10. So putting 20 levies and new taxes at once on the shoulders of a Kenyan. Please be specific in your recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you. Response, 5 last minutes, kindly.
Excuse me, the one question on the...
Yeah, but let it be as brief as possible.
Yeah. No,
yeah.
Thank you, Governor Nderitu. Part of, the task of this committee is to address issues of accountability, issues of impunity. Now, you have presented some graphic cases where the police are alleged to have used brutal force against Kenyans. Now, from the data that you have, because, even in America, we see some rogue policemen, but you will see action being taken against them. They will be arrested and prosecuted like any criminal. Now, from where you are sitting, do you have any indication as to whether there is any single police officer who has been arrested, taken to court, and charged for any crimes committed against Kenyans by the police? Thank you.
Take note, you have exactly 5 minutes. We have about 10 more teams waiting out there since 2 p.m. Kindly.
No police officer, to our knowledge, has been held to account. As a matter of fact, they have been congratulated by the highest leadership in the regime. I agree with the co-chair that we may not always agree with what each other is saying. I think that's why we are talking. The senator may not agree with our figures, but isn't that why we need an audit? That's the whole point. Yeah, that we are looking for a neutral arbiter to do so. The question that he asked about the Supreme Court, the whistleblower came way after the Supreme Court matter had been settled. On the matter of Jubilee Party and the illusion of multipartyism, the whole parties are the foundation of democracy. Without functioning political parties, we cannot possibly have democracy. It is incumbent on any regime in power to let parties operate in the manner that is contemplated in the Constitution. So the continued aggression against Jubilee Party, the fact that Jubilee Party and other parties, when they change parliamentary leadership, for example, those changes are not implemented because speakers have taken a partisan view. it is well known, for instance, that Jubilee Party and Azimio coalition have communicated changes to who should be the deputy whip in the assembly, and this has for more than 6-7 months not been acted upon by the speaker. So it is clear and that if we continue on this trajectory, we will certainly go back to where we were in the days of a single party system. On the question of resources of Jubilee Party, and these are matters being also contested in court, the evidence is that the masqueraders have been allowed by certain actions of officers of state to access Jubilee resources from their accounts. Citizens go to the streets because all other avenues are closed to them. It's not the citizens' wish that they wake up every day and they go to Maandamano. So if you ask the question that how does Maandamano help manage the economy, you are obviously asking the wrong question. Citizens, Article 1 of the Constitution gives sovereignty to the citizens. The Commission before us said citizens donate powers to those they elect. So if those we elect are not paying fidelity to the Constitution, that is why citizens go to the streets. Regimes that become dictatorial, when citizens complain, they say that that is political instability. But I also want to remind regimes, not just in Kenya, but throughout the continent,